Μία από αυτές είναι να επισκεφτεί το ναό του Άμμονος, την όαση Σίβα.
While Alexander was in Egypt, the entire resources of the greatest empire on earth were mobilizing to fight him. He had to get back to war, to defeat the Persians before their vast armies cut him off from Macedonia. But at this crucial moment, he chose to spend 6 weeks traveling through the Sahara Desert. The journey was a spiritual preparation for what was perhaps the greatest religious experience of Alexander's life, and it was a journey that nearly killed him.
When Alexander came to the desert, he began to cross a country covered with an infinite expanse of sand. In 4 days, their water had given out, and they suffered from fearful thirst. All fell into despair. And suddenly, a great storm of rain burst from the heavens, ending their shortage of water in a way that had not been foreseen. At one point, when the road could not be traced because of the sand dunes, the guide pointed out to the king that the crows calling on the right were calling their attention to the route which led to the temple. Alexander took this as an omen, and thinking that the god was pleased by his visit, pushed on with speed.
Για τους Αιγυπτίους ο Άμμον ήταν ό,τι και ο Δίας για τους Έλληνες. Ο βασιλιάς όλων των θεών. Συχνά τον αποκαλούσαν και με 2 ονόματα, Άμμονα και Δία. Ο Αλέξανδρος φλεγόταν από επιθυμία να μάθει από το μαντίο στη Σίβα, αν ήταν γιος Θεού. Σήμερα στην όαση Σίβα υπάρχουν ακόμη τα λείψανα του ναού.
Alexander and his companions climbed up into the temple, and it was here on these steps that the high priest greeted Alexander with a slip of the tongue. He meant to say, "O Pai Dion, O my son." But his Greek wasn't up to much, and what the Macedonians heard him say was, "O Pai Dios, O son of Zeus." Now for Alexander that was quite a good start. The sayings of the oracle were usually delivered in this courtyard, but Alexander was too important a guest for a public show. Besides, he had some very private questions, so he was allowed to question the god directly and enter the inner chamber. This is the holy shrine where the bejeweled statue of the ram-headed god Ammon was kept. Alexander stood here alone on this very spot to ask his questions. He never revealed what they were, but in later years they were said to be these. Would he conquer the world? Had all his father's murderers been punished? And was he indeed the son of Zeus? Alexander received his answers from the priests, who, supposedly, had not heard the questions. But in fact, beside this chamber is a narrow passageway. Here, the priests could listen in and then appear to give the gods answers. Now, it's easy for us to mock this as a fraud, but remember, oracles don't last for 2,000 years unless they're pretty accurate. The answers that Alexander received were these. Yes, he would conquer the world. Yes, all his father's murderers had been punished, which may have been a relief to Alexander. If he was in fact guilty of involvement in his father's death, he needed to know if divine retribution was on the way. The answer to the final question was clear. The priests told him that Philip was not his father anyway, and that he was indeed the son of Zeus Ammon, the son of God.
Κανείς δεν είναι μαζί με τον Αλέξανδρο όταν οι ιερείς της Σίβας τον αναγνωρίζουν ως γιο Θεού. Δεν υπάρχουν μάρτυρες, μόνο ο λόγος του ίδιου του Αλεξάνδρου. Αλλά καθώς ο Αλέξανδρος επιστρέφει μέσα από την έρημο για να συναντήσει τους στρατιώτες, η πεποίθησή του ότι είναι ανίκητος ενισχύεται. Θα χρειαστεί αυτήν την αυτοπεποίθηση τους μήνες και τα χρόνια που θα ακολουθήσουν. Ο Αλέξανδρος θα αντιμετωπίσει μια σημαντική μάχη με έναν άλλο θνητό